Okay, we're going to create an American flag hat. It's a baby newborn, and what you'll need is the directions, and I have them available on mikeysmail.com. And this is called the Creative Design Worksheet, and I have these available in my website if you want to print out one of these. And basically what I do is I just list the numbers from 1 to 10 and then 1 to 13. So then I keep it all in sections. So these are all my hats that I've been designing, so I want to check them off as they go. So that's your first step. Get yourself prepared. What we want to do is I've got red, white, obviously for my American flag, I got red, white, and blue. And these are just emptied out dollar store pens. I call them styler pens, and it's just my fancy name for it. So in order to feed one of these styler pens, you just empty out the interior, and then you just kind of stick the loop into the end of the styler pen. And using something small like this wooden crochet hook available at hookandmama.com, you can just push down the material through. Actually, it's not hookandmama.com, but on my website it's hookandmama if you want to check her out. So you just want to create a slip knot, so back over the forward, back again, pushing up, and now we're ready to start. So we're going to do the casting on process, and then I'm going to get you started, and then we're going to come back and then do the second part. So I always divide this into two. That's why I did it on the design worksheet. So depending if you're right or left-handed, you're going to want to look for the knobby thing that's on the side, and you're going to use that as your counting points as you go around. So now sticking your slip knot over, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to stick my loop onto the left-hand side of the actual knobs here. So if you're left-handed, you might go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to stick my slip knot onto there, and I'm going to pull it snug. I'm not going to reef on it, but I'm going to pull it snug. So now what we want to do is start the casting on process. So just using your styler pen or your fingers, if you want to do this, wrap it by hand, you just come onto the inside, up to the next one, coming out, and then wrapping in. And this is called E-wrapping because what you're doing essentially is making the string overlap each other on the interior, causing it to look like an E. And we want to make sure that string's kind of halfway down, and you can see how tight that I'm wrapping that. It's kind of loosey, but it's not like really loose. Like it's not falling off kind of idea. So we just want to use the styler pen to really create the tension that's consistent. I find it's using a styler pen, your tension is a lot looser and actually makes your work look pretty good. So we're just going to wrap around once. Okay. And now the problem with this kind of craft is that these are like alligator teeth. They're really really thick and really dense apart from each other. So one rotation is not enough. You're not going to create a nice dense look of any project if you don't wrap it twice. So for every one row that we do, we're going to wrap it twice. So let's wrap again. So just continuing along, E-wrapping. This is called E-wrapping in the directions. And when I say we're going to E-wrap twice, so for every rotation, we're going to come around twice before we start the knitting process. So depending on you, you can really get into quite the speed with the styler pen. The styler pen will speed you up to a really nice thing. So after this, what we're going to just use your hand just to hold the string. And now I just kind of like hold it. And what we want to do now is start moving these down to the bottom. So what we're doing now is we're trying to create this two strings to act like they're one string. So the 4-ply Bernat yarn that we're using right now can actually turn into 8-ply, which is what you need for a nice quality hat. So now that we pushed them all the way to the bottom again, we're now going to E-wrap again, sticking close to the top. So you don't want to have these strings kind of run into each other. So close to the top again, let's E-wrap again, going all the way around. And this is all part of the casting on process. Okay, and now I always say let's go again because we're going to double it, so let's wrap around one more time. So on your sheet of paper you will have from 1 to 10 listed, and then 1 to 13. This is classified as number 1 that we're doing right now once we begin the knitting process. So now we come all the way around, and so everyone now has 2 on there, just like you see how it's 2 rows. So now using this hand, you're still holding it, And now what we're going to do is start wrapping, start to actually do the knitting process. So we've been wrapping toward the right, or sorry, toward the left, and now we want to knit in the opposite direction. So this is where we come off. So we just want to grab the bottom two sections that you see. Hopefully you can see that. And we want to just take it over. Now I like working with my loom upside down. A lot of people like working with up and pushing up. I think it's easier just to kind of put your needle in behind and pull out and down. And then using the needle kind of pushing it back up. If you can move those at the same time, moving them about halfway back up, you'd be laughing. It simplifies you. It doesn't make you have to come back after each rotation and start pushing things down. If you can get your finger and your thumb coordination all within the same time, coordination. So up and over using my thumb to kind of push under and pushing it back. So this is going to count as row number 1 that we're going to go all the way around. Not sure my camera angle is any good today. I think I'm going to move it for the next part of this. So once you get into a rhythm, it's easier if this is on your lap than it is on a table like I'm showing you right now. And you know you're done as soon as you hit that knobby thing on the side. And now you're going to have a loose string. This is your starting string. You might as well pull it out and pull it toward the center. And now we've just rotated all the way around for just one. Okay, so now what we want to do is start row. So we're going to go on our sheet and check off number 1, and now we're going to start row number 2. So this is what, so this now row number 2 to number 9 will be the exact same thing as what I'm about to show you right now. So we're just going to continue to wrap. And of course we're going to wrap again, we're double wrapping everything. Now if you want to use 2 blue strings at one time, you're more than welcome to do that. It'll save yourself from double wrapping. So if you have 2 string yarn balls that you can use at the same time, just feed them both through your styler pen or through your hands and just wrap the loom once only. That'll actually save you half your time. So coming out, again using your hand to hold it, and what we want to do is start taking them over. So I'm working in the opposite direction than what I just wrapped it in. So this will be row number 2 once we get done. So what I want you to do now is that you just need to go and do the exact same thing you just saw for row number 3 all the way to number 9. And then number 9 is where we're going to start changing things up and start to create the brim. And we're going to actually, sorry, number 10 is when we're going to start creating the brim and changing our colors in order to match the Canadian or the American flag that we're working on. So I'll meet you back here. Just keep e-wrapping and I'll see you soon. So we're now finished row number 9, and what we need to do now is we're done with completely with the blue. So taking your styler, just taking the string, and I just do about a hand width of string. Just do like so and just cut it. So now the blue is done, you can set that aside. And now what we want to do is we want to tie this again around the peg that we are finishing off with. This is the peg that we started off with, and so this is the last peg of the rotation. So we just want to tie once, so just like so, around that peg. Now we don't want to be tying it like reefing to the point that you can't get it over the knob, but we do want it to be secure. And don't worry about the string that's hanging off. We're going to hide that next. So now what we're going to do is add our next color. So let's push these all the way down. We are actually going to be creating the brim, and this is the most, I like this part the most. I think it's the most challenging. It's actually the most coolest too. So grabbing the red or white, whatever one you want to start with, let's just say red. We want to, this is where we started with the peg that's on the one side, our starter peg. So we're just going to slip the red onto that. and we're going to pull that snug, and that's a slip knot that you saw that I already demonstrated how to make one of those. And so what we're going to do now is wrap this entire loom only once with the red. And this is a straggler, but we're not going to worry about that. So let's wrap our loom once with the red. Now the string coming out of the ball, you don't want it to be like pulling like it's to the point where you're really stretching it. So you want to make sure that if there's any added tension to it that really causes issues, you want to make sure that string is not as too tense. So I just pulled it off and I've just left it to the side so you can see I'm not moving my project. And now we're going to add white. These are what's going to create the stripes in our American flag. So let's pull that snug. Again, leaving the straggler in. Okay, and now let's wrap it with white. We're not actually going to be able to see this row. This row I do like this so that the strings are established and well hidden. This is actually going to be tucked up inside a fold, and you'll never see this as long as you do it in the order that I'm showing you right now. You will see this if you go out of order, and what I mean by that is I'll show you in just a few minutes. So we're just going to come off, making sure the tension's good. And again, just lay that down. So using both of your hands, just grab it nice and tight. So now let's move this white and red down about halfway or to the bottom, whatever you can. You can actually see the color differentiate, the difference between the blue and these colors. Sometimes if you're using like black, black, and black, it's kind of difficult. So this is a great example of showing you what it's like with different colors. Okay, so now we want to still continue with the brim. So what we're going to just do, this is the starting peg right here. And what we want to do is unroll this. And you can actually see through this project, you can actually see the lines. I don't know if you can see it but in the camera, but you can actually see the lines going down through it. So you want to follow the peg that is on the left, or sorry, on the right hand side of the knob, okay, the last peg, and you want to fold it down, pull it down. And what we want to do is get the last two strings that are on the bottom of that piece using your hook. I know my hands are covering it, but there will be two strings right at the bottom. And so what we want to do is take those strings and loop them up over the peg. Now if you have stragglers like so, make sure it stays on the inside of this project, like where you're folding it up. And those stragglers will be permanently buried into the brim of the hat. So now that you folded one up over that, the next one is actually right in front of you. It actually shows itself. So you just keep going around. I actually really like this. Of all the work on this project, I really like doing brims. I think they're just so neat. And doing the brim work, I always classify to myself it's halfway through a project, especially when you're doing a baby's hat, because the other rotations are pretty simple. So I just think it's kind of exciting. So what we're doing here is we're creating the permanent fold. So the next time we go to knit, which will be row number 10, is that we will be permanently making this brim actually in place. And this makes for a lot nicer styling to a hat. I have seen people do hats without doing a brim and it looks sloppy. So at least the brim really gives it definition. So again, this two strings just jump. You can use your hands if you feel that's more easier for you. But make sure you do, because you use two rotations, there will be two strings. So if you only rotated once around and decided to like use a thicker material and only go once around, then you'll only have one at the bottom. And now before you finish off, make sure all your stragglers are inside the brim so that you can't see them. Stragglers meaning loose ends. It's a perfect way of hiding your loose ends as well. So just, and as you get like, I think they just like slides on so easy. So now you go. So now you have your your brim all in place, and now it's time to actually put these together. So I'm going to rotate this upside down, and remember we loaded going this way, so I'm going to take off going the other way. Let's see where the camera angle is here. So now what we want to do, we want to make sure we do this the same for every one of these, okay? So if you're going to start something, you got to do it the same. So I don't want the red and the white to show at all. So the secret is grab the red and white first, okay, and using your thumb, sometimes this brim pops off, so using your thumb, push this over, and now grab the bottom. You'll have 3 on there because the last one is the one we tied to make sure the blue is tied off. So you'll have 3 on that one. Up and over. So now you only have 1 there. Okay? So red and white first, then the bottom blue. And because I'm working with the loom upside down, the bottom actually is top. So red and white first, then bottom. Red and white. You'll be very upset with yourself if you don't go in order. I have one of these hats done, and I don't have the hat here with me right now to show you, but I missed doing that by 2 of them, and they stick out because the red and the blue are so dominant. The brim of the hat to me is totally wrecked because I went out of order on 2 of them. And I think I was probably rushing, or that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So red and white first. And again, we'll only put the color in there at this time. You didn't really have to, but I think it's better to establish that pattern, because what's going to happen now is when you do the brim, right, the brim is going to look like the red and white just comes right out of the brim, so it looks very clean. So that's why I do it the way I do it. Now you could grab all blue, the bottom blue and the red and white at the same time. However, that is where I think I screwed up on that hat that I told you about that I don't have to show you. Because I grabbed everything at one time, I think the white and red went out of order when it went over the peg, and so therefore it caused itself to be exposed on the brim. So in this demonstration, we're going to show you next. We're actually going to stop this video after I'm done this, because the way that I just started this is actually the way of 2 of the hats. But the way that we're going to show you how to do the next part can be done in 2 different ways. So from this point on, this is just one, from this point backward, this is just one of the videos for 2 of the projects. And you see how I'm pushing halfway up. It just saves doing it later. So this is the very last one of all of it. So that's how you do your brim. So your brim's now permanently attached. See how you see the colors here? The red and white will be on the inside of the hat, not the outside. So that will get you started, and we'll continue on from this point. So now we're going to do the vertical striping. So the stripes are going to work ourselves vertically. So now it's important that you keep your strings from tangling with each other. So let's start off, we're going to start off with red, just for the sake of, actually we're going to start off with white. And the reason for the white is that it is not as noticeable as it is the red for standing out. And the reason why I'm saying that is that this ring is actually consisting of 31 pegs. Because there's an odd number of pegs, it actually shows up like a dirty shirt on the when you go to do it. So we need to make sure that there's going to be two of the same color together on the very back of the hat, so you might as well make it white because it's really not that noticeable. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the first one with white, and then we're going to jump over one. So we're going to skip one. So let's wrap all around. So we're just wrapping every other peg. And you're seeing string that's on the inside that's almost looking like a spider web thing happening. And it's all, just to remind yourself, it's kind of like a spirograph. And this is where it can kind of get confusing. So when you skipped over to the last one, you see that it's right beside the one that you just started. So this is where your two whites are going to happen. Now, just like every other project that every other line we're doing, we need to double wrap. So we're going to go around one more time. And now this is easy. You don't have to count. You just have to look where the white's already wrapped, and you can see that. So just white only. Okay, going to the center point, going to the ending point. So now what we want to do is that we want to be able to let go of that white without falling off. So what we're going to do, take the blue on the very last peg that you just wrapped that white and secure it. I call that securing in the patterns. So now you can let go of the white, and you know for darn sure that's not going to fall off. Okay, so now let's take a red, and the red's even more simpler. Basically, you just got to look to where you just didn't do white. So just wrap your white or red around every peg that has no white. And in this case, it's every other peg. Okay, so now there's going to be two white right side by side in the beginning of it. Okay, so we want to make sure we overskip those when we go to wrap it twice. So this is where you're going to have the long jump over on the interior, but again, don't worry about that. It's all hidden because you're going to be wearing the hat, or your child's going to be wearing the hat anyway. So again, wrapping again, second time. Okay, and you just go to where you stop. See, this is already double wrapped on this side of the peg, and then so therefore the other side is the other side. So let's secure it. So taking the blue over. So now your red and the blue are now secure, so you can actually let go. So now what we can just do is we can start by knitting the rest of the row. So then you can really start seeing that the red and white is actually going to start taking effect as we push the blue over. So now when we go to do the rest of the rotations, so we're going to be doing 13 rotations altogether. This is already number 1 that we're working on right now. So as we go along, you just want to check off. But as you're wrapping every peg now for the rest of this project, you need to make sure that if there's white on the or red on this peg right now, that when you rewrap that, you'll put another red string over top of it to keep the striping the same. If you opposite the colors, you're going to totally mess yourselves up, and you won't have solid stripes running up and down your hat. Now the instructions for this written is actually a lot more complicated than what it actually appears. There's really no easy way to write it. Sometimes just a visual is a lot easier. So we've gone all the way around. Okay, so check off number 1 on your sheet. And now we want to, now you'll notice what happens. Look, your strings are tangled. So in order to untangle them, rotate your loom just once, and voila, your strings will become untangled. So just like we did before, we started off with white. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that let me just rotate again. We started off with white, so we want to make sure that we start with white again. Now you'll have 2 on the very end, Okay, one is the end and one is the start. So whatever one you started with is the one you wrap. So don't wrap both of them, just pick the one side that you can classify as your starting peg. And now just jump over where you see white to rewrap with white. And of course, just like before, okay, so we've already gone away around once, and now we want to double wrap again because that's what we need to do. So at the end of this rotation, we are going to secure the white into position so then we can do our red. Okay, so coming off, let's secure the white over, and now let's begin to do the red. So now we just leave this on the outside and grabbing the red again. Okay, and this is a prime example of what just happened here. So what's gone on now is that I didn't make sure that the red was sitting out properly on the right side. So in actual fact, I've got this red now buried in another stitch, which is going to be friggin' not fun. So I want to unbury that, so I got to pay attention to that. And now using these two. So this is a great example of a screw up live on camera, but it's better to show you why I screwed up than it is to say I do it perfectly all the time. So let's rewrap now. So we're going to be doing a long jump between the start and the next one, or between the end and the start, and that's fine. So we're just going to do that and just wrap all the pegs that are already red. Okay, and now this is the long jump, so that's the end. So let's rewrap again one more time. So we want to make sure it isn't so important that you don't change the order. So if you start wrapping at the very start of this project with white in the beginning, after the brim, then you make sure that you always go white first and then red to make sure that they're alternating. It makes a difference. So now let's secure the red in position so I can let it go. So just taking it over, and now what we can just do is knit the entire row. So this would be row number 2. So I need you to go all the way to 13, so you can do that on your own, and we'll meet back up here where we'll do a final cast off, and you won't start seeing the striping taking effect for another few rounds because it's still buried behind the bar of the loom, but it's happening and it's going to look great. Another little side tip too, when you're going to grab these over, make sure you don't like pull the material apart. It's sometimes easy to grab not only the bottom two, and then just like a ply of the other one, pulling out the material. You'll see that, so it's really important that you just grab the string that you need. And so it's important that you try to keep them separated on the peg as much as possible to avoid pulling the string apart using the hook. So once you have your pattern established, just like you see, we're almost to a full rotation. You want to untangle yourself again because you rotated the loom. Your material is going to be twisted. So again, just rotate the loom back to where it was before, and everything becomes untangled. So we'll meet you back here when we're going to cast off. We're now actually finished row number 13, and now it's time to cast off. And when you look on the interior now, it looks like a spider web, kind of like a Willy Wonka. And on the exterior, do you see how we did the brim? It creates a beautiful line. Like, my God, it can't be any better than that. So I'm really happy with that. And you will notice that there will be one set of strings that is longer than the other in the red, and that's because we jumped over the two. So that's absolutely normal. So what you want to do now is you take the two red and the white at the same time into your hand, and you cut it about maybe 2 feet long. So grabbing your nifty scissors, now it's free. Now your looming hook or kits will always come with a plastic hook, or sorry, plastic needle, just like so. So now we're going to take both colors and put it onto the needle. We're just going to wheel it through, but double it up a little bit, not all the way. We And what we want to do now is we want to begin to casting off, and we're going to cast off right onto the actual plastic needle. So the red comes out, the red and the white come out of the two last pegs of this particular project. So we're going to start off with again with the starting peg, and we want to come on holding it upside down, okay, just like so, so that the material naturally falls to the ground. If you work on it this way, then the material will, or the strings will actually catch into the rest of the pegs, and it is a pain in the butt. So let's start off with our starting peg, so it'd be on the far side here. So we're going to come up underneath, so we're going to come up and push, and then using the needle and your hand, you want to kind of grab it close to where you're pulling up, because you don't want to bend that and break that plastic needle. So then holding it upside down, you just want to pull that through. Okay, so we go to the next one. And now that you've got the first one off, the rest of them just are very easy. So just sticking your needle through, pulling it down. Next one, in, down. And so then the reason why the brim looks as amazing it does is if you look really carefully at it, you can see a little bit of red coming through the actual brim area, but that is because the color is being established before it actually hit to the visual eye here, therefore making the seam just really incredible. So I'm really, really happy with that. And the reason why we're going down, up, it's like coming this way through the needle, is that when you go to look at it from here, this is almost like a clothesline of material. And so because the materials will be all in a row, I have tried going in the opposite direction, but what happens is that that loop actually turns backwards and gets tangled. So it's better if you come from the bottom of the peg, working your way up and over. And you can see it's getting easier and easier as I'm going around the rotation. So this is casting off if you're doing hats, and you could, if you were doing leg warmers and stuff, you'd obviously not want to do this type of casting off, because this string here is going to pull together and it's going to pull the perfect top of a hat like you would ever see. And when you go to pull the strings as well at the final, you'll notice that the hat will divide into 4 sections all on its own, and I think that looks sharp too. So, and actually, depending on the way that you fasten it, you could divide it into 3 sections or even into 5, depending on how you want to sew it shut. Now you want to be kind of gentle with this as well. You don't want any of these falling out the hook. The disadvantage with loom knitting, it's not very forgiving. If you make a mistake at any point and you need to go backward, you're pretty well screwed. It's not one of those projects like crochet you can just pull out a few stitches and fix it, because of the way that this is working on the pegs. Once it's screwed up for life. Okay, so we got one more peg to go. We're coming off, so we're off. Let's pull through. So now we have the top of your hat, just like so. You can see that the bottom of it. And so now just using your fingers, you can just kind of pinch it. And now just using, you don't want the needle off yet, but just pull, just like so. And pull it nice and tight. Okay, and so now the hat has divided into 4 sections, just like I promised. So now what you want to do is take the needle and just come to the opposite side. So you came out of here, take it to the opposite side, go through, and back through. Pulling it through. So then this will cause it to jump over the top, and because you're using the perfect colors of the red and white at the top, you won't actually see where you sewed this. So now what we want to do now is jump. We came in through there, so let's jump over and come through there and go directly across. Now in my patterns I say just sew it 3 times. So we did 2 times already, and now let's come back over. Okay, and now let's go in the opposite direction. So up and over, up and over. So there you go. So that's 3, And now we're just going to stick the needle just straight down the center point through the hat. Okay, now we want to turn it inside out, making sure the needle didn't grab onto anything so you can see what the interior looks like. So just pulling it through, pulling it tight. And now what we want to do is just secure this like within a tie. So just stick it under the material, but not so deep that it's going to show on the other side. So going through and then pulling it through like a knot. Sliding it down. And now let's go through the identical area and do the knot again. Grabbing your nifty scissors, cut it about 1 inch long or a little bit shorter, whatever you prefer. And voila, you've just completed your American flag hat. And I think this is brilliant. So you can tell like there's a white stripe at the back of the hat. So when you turn it around, it's going to be perfect. So if you want to decorate it, it's be good. But if that was two solid reds, I think it would be more obvious than be the two white. So there you go, and enjoy.